stories that, you know, it was kind of scary. There was one that was kind of scary, like if they saw something. There was one about people getting hurt. A lot of stuff about traveling, a lot of stuff about places. There's a lot of people who like to talk about places they've been, things they've learned. So I'm getting to know, again, like I said, each of you as a writer, trying to figure out what your strengths are at this point so we can make those stronger. And so that's kind of where the process is. You'll probably have different spots because I haven't figured out writing partners quite yet. So that will be coming as we come. But this is the first unit. This is narrative craft. And this is the first session. We're talking about turning points. A turning point is when something changes for someone. Okay. A lot of times in the story, like our second question on the pre-assessment for reading was talking about Harry, and he had a turning point. He changed. So characters have turning points. We all have turning points. We have a lot of turning points. So it's when something happens to you that kind of changes your life. So it's a turning point. Okay. So I just want to make sure that we define that for you moving forward. Also, the expectation of that learning notebook. You should be collecting some thoughts and ideas from the mini lesson. Okay. What are we talking about? What are some of the strategies we're using? And if you don't want to do it during the mini lesson because you're afraid it's going to break your concentration, I do post this throughout the whole workshop. And another thing I will do is I take pictures of screenshots of the processes and the teaching points, and I will start putting those probably through Google Classroom. Okay, so if you don't want to, if you feel like, you know, it's better for me to pay attention without having to write something, then don't. But if you feel like that's something that you want to work on or try during a mini lesson, try it. See if it works for you. Okay, but again, that learning notebook is designed for you to keep track of what we are doing in the mini lesson, what you are supposed to be learning. That's why it's called a learning notebook. Okay, so the backpack. There's a picture of a backpack, right? There is a picture of a backpack. Why do I have a picture of a backpack? I promise I won't start every lesson like this, but I do like to. Why is there a backpack? Talk to someone sitting next to you. What do you think? You can talk to me. Why is there a backpack? Make a guess. Why? Sorry. Why might there be a backpack? Just take a guess. Why might there be a backpack? Okay. Oh. Like what kind of things? Okay. All right. So this idea of being a writer at home. This vision of taking things home and working. Cool. All right, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Thank you. I heard some ideas about maybe we're going to be just taking stuff home or something about traveling back and forth between two places. Again, I do ask that if you do have a distraction or if someone has something that's distracting you, you really kind of, I'm asking you for 10 minutes. I'm asking you for 10 minutes, so buckle down for 10 minutes, okay? Learn some stuff and pay attention. I'm not going to ask you to sit here for 2 hours and listen to me talk. That would be horrifying, okay? But 10 minutes, you can do it, okay? You have the ability. You just need to focus and think about things. So the reason I put the backpack up there is one of my favorite metaphors or ideas about skills and strategies is this idea as you are working on writing or reading or anything, you have strategies with you already. You have them with you. And so this idea of an invisible backpack that you're always wearing that has your tools, your strategies, everything that you have, that you've learned that make you a powerful writer or make you a powerful reader or scientist or historian or whatever we're working on. Okay? So you have those with you. And so I like to picture it as an invisible backpack. So that's why I put a backpack up there. I also posted some ideas from before. You've learned how to generate stories before. You've learned how to generate narratives before. This is not the first time you've done personal narrative work. Okay, so you have some strategies. So those first two should be something that we talked about. You talked about in 4th grade. So this idea of thinking about someone that you care about and having that kind of help you to think of what to write about. So if you could, just think about that. Have you ever used that strategy before? This idea of thinking about someone that you care about. And just give me a thumbs up if you've done that before. Okay. And it's okay if you haven't. Okay, it's okay that if you haven't. You should have some strategies already. And what we're going to talk about today is a way to make your stories more powerful. Okay, one of the things that we talk about constantly in 5th grade is really getting to the point of writing like it's you. Okay, everybody has certain types of stories. There are millions of I scored a goal in soccer. Millions of stories. Okay, what makes it yours? How can you make your stories powerful? And one of the ways to do that is this idea of turning points. So what are turning points? Again, turning points are times in your life that something changed for you. And one of the ways you can do that is think about first times. So the first time you did something, last times, the last time you did something, or sometimes something you realize something about life. You learned something about life. You had this great realization. Okay, so if you think about those 3 ways, and you jot those things down, that's what we're talking about. Okay, how to get powerful ideas to write about, important ideas to write about. You all have important and powerful stories. And it's our job this year to make sure you are writing about that. You are unleashing that onto the page. Okay, and this is a way to do that. So let me go through that and model that for you. One of the things you can do, I'm going to use the board for now. I forgot my document. I have one that plugs in the computer. It's just easier for me to use than that one. I forgot. So I'm going to use the board. So the very first thing I can do is think about first times. And what helps me to think about first times is, what is something I do all the time? Okay, what is something I do all the time? Something I do all the time. Right now, I'm a dad all the time. So I can think about the first time I was a dad. Oops. So I can think about when my daughter was born. Or I'm a husband now when I married Diana, or maybe the first time I met Diana. What's another first time? Teaching, first time I taught. Boy, that was different.
You taught.
A lot different. I was a much different teacher back then. Okay. Notice what I'm doing. I'm not like taking time to make sure my handwriting is nice. Okay, I'm jotting ideas down. The purpose is to go fast. And once you start thinking about one first time, it really starts snowballing from there. Okay, I'm going to stop with my first times now. I could probably add about 15 more just now that I'm thinking about it. So if I think about last times, I could think about, my mom died, so I can think about the last time I saw my mom. That would be something.
That is pretty sad.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, powerful stories. We don't always want to write about just bland, stuff. We all have stuff we're dealing with. Every single person has something in their life that causes them stress or anxiety, and writing, especially when it's private in your own journal, which is what these writing notebooks are until you decide to publish them. Okay, that's what it is. It's a private place where you get to put down thoughts and things that worry you and stress you out. So last time I saw my mom, this is something I realized last year, is there was a moment in my life where I played soccer, and then there was a moment I didn't. And so I could think about the last time I played soccer. And through writing workshop, I realized like this whole I made this realization about soccer and why I stopped playing and everything. It was pretty interesting. So again, I'm going fast. I'm thinking about things. The last one, the realizations, for me, that one is kind of tough. That's the hardest one. It's like, when did I realize something? It helps to think of a strong emotion. A time in your life when you were super angry, super happy, something. Sometimes, quite frankly, the more negative the emotion, the more you're going to realize probably. Something that made you super sad. But there is a time, or like when I'm happy, realization. There was a time I realized that I loved teaching. Because I didn't always. When I first started, I didn't love it. But there was a moment that I did start to love it. Realizations. There was a moment I realized, if I could come back, I guess I realized when I was going to be a dad.
That one is the first. I think that should
Okay.
go in first.
All right. So again, the order doesn't matter. The ideas matter. And so what that process is you think about what are things that are important to you. What do you do? First times, last times, realizations. You write quickly. Okay? And then you choose one and you write the whole thing fast and furious. I know Gabriel's heard that before. He talked about his teacher last year saying fast and furious a lot.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what it is. It's not just sitting around kind of it's like you jot it down and you go fast. We're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for you to know every word in English. We're not looking for you to know how to spell it. We're not looking for you to have punctuation. We are not looking for you to have a perfect paper. We want that idea down in a page and a half, at least. Like, how can you get this out? And if you can't get a page and a half, one idea, you go to the next idea. And you are writing the whole time. Okay, that's the expectation. Okay, not asking people, hey, how do you say this in English? No, doesn't matter. Not right now. You have time for that. Okay, you have time for that. It's getting these ideas down, brainstorming, and then picking one that you really care about and developing it as fast as you can. And so that's what you're going to do today. Okay, and you're going to start right now. All right, so in your writing notebook, okay, on whatever page you want, near the beginning, I would imagine, you're going to try the strategy out. You're going to try some first times, some last times, and some realizations. And I'm going to walk around, and I'm going to see how it's going for you. Yes?
So we're going to write about a moment in our life.
Yes, personal narratives. Personal narratives are about small moments in our life. So this is a strategy to get you to think about very, very small moments. Okay? And to really write about those, really develop those powerful times in your life.
That's how you pull down. That's how you go into a
I did. It said learning, writing, and pen. First times, last times, realizations. A pen should be flying down the page at this point. What is something you do all the time? There had to have been a first time to it. We're on our desk yet. We're not at our desks yet. First time you did something. The last time. Realization. Think about emotions. Think about things that are important to you.
Make a lot.
Just do what I just did. Every time I ask you to do something in a mini lesson, I show you exactly what you need to do. I show you exactly what you need to do.
Your daughter is called Amelia.
Yep. But that's not what we're doing right now. You're listing down first times. You're listing down last times. You're listing down times you've had a realization. First time, last time, realization. Something important. What is important in your life? Right now, the only person needs to be legible to is you. You need to be perfect. Again, fast. Writing. Just what's in your head, put it down. Don't judge it now. Just put it down. You don't have to write about what you write down, but write it down. You never know. I'm going to stop you right there. And this is how we think of ideas. So this is always a strategy that you can use when you're not sure what to write about. And you're not sure if you're writing powerful ideas or not. Okay? This idea of thinking about first times, last times, when you made a realization, then you take one of those and you develop it fast and furious. So today, we are starting our narrative unit. You should be writing about important times that have happened in your life. Small moments, personal narratives, true. Okay. Bless you. So today, since you've done your brainstorming already, most of us, you should have an important story that you're ready to write about. It doesn't need to be perfect. You need to get it out. Okay? Every day you'll be writing about a new idea. That's that first bend. The first bend is you writing entries every day about something different. Okay. If I call your name, I want you to hang out on the wood for a second. So Cristobal, Martin, Salvador, Luciana, Juan, and Gabriel A. Just want to check in. Martin, B. Just want to check in with you real quick. Everybody else? Yes?
And what happens is like the first time we don't remember anything.
Well, think about the earliest thing you can think about. Dog trees. I know. So what's this? I know you all were struggling. What's that?
Oh, I don't have one. Okay. I have only one more. I had only one idea that I thought about.
It seems like making brownies is something important. Don't think that we can make anything important if it's important. Don't be worried about what people think or anything like that. And again, these are private right now. It can be anything. First time you made, do you like eating sandwiches? First time you made a sandwich. Okay, first time you had kickboxing class. That must have been something for you. Before you took kickboxing class, you were a different person. That caused a complete change in your life. A complete change. Okay? Cristobal, first time your grandfather talked to you about World War II. That must have had an enormous impact on you.
How do you know?
Knowing you and hearing you talk and listening to you for 5 seconds, I know your grandfather is super important.
Not for 5 seconds, like a minute.
Okay? So think about what it is. Think about what you love. Okay? Think about what you love. Okay? What is important to you? And there has to be a first time, there has to be a last time. And probably there was a realization that you made along the way. Okay? When did you realize you love making brownies? You know what I mean? Why do you do it? All that stuff. So really think about that. Okay?
The only thing that is important to me that I think I can write down a page and a half that I remember is, and I'm not even sure that I can write.
Again, I'm going to reiterate something that kind of Martin broke out on up. If you write fast and furious and you're done in 3/4 of a page, go to the next idea. You don't have to have a page and a half on one idea.
What if you get to a half a page? Next idea, half a page. Next idea, half a page. You see? Okay, if you run out of things to say about an idea, go to a new idea. All right, you are writing.